also some amazing quick sketches by some artists.
Federal government takes steps to fast-track restoration of the economy. Economic and financial experts advocate legal and enabling environment to attract foreign investors. Defense headquarters adopts global best practices to sanitize purchasing system in the military. And Nigerians mourn the passage of soccer icon Stephen Keshi. Hello there, so good to have you join us on NTA International News at this time. My name is Oku Ekbayong. Now, we begin by telling you that in a bid to fast-track the restoration of the economy, the Federal Executive Council has directed ministries, departments and agencies to forward the list of existing projects under their watch for immediate release of funds. The decision was ratified at the Federal Executive Council meeting, chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
The aim is to support more activities that would lead to generation of more jobs. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma Udodoma, and the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, briefed the media at the end of the meeting.
Council approved that the MDAs, the various MDAs, should fast-track the processes for release of their capital budget so that the economy can be quickly reflated.
Asked if there was concern on comments from economic analysts within and outside the country on the state of the economy, the minister stated that the Buhari administration is aware of the trajectory slide in the economy and that there is a national plan on how to surmount the global economic challenge. They emphasized that government would not lose focus in achieving this. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Nigerians in refugee camps in neighboring countries are to return to the country anytime from now as Nigeria and other partners step up processes to that effect and other causative issues in the Lake Chad Basin region. State House correspondent Jide Onifade again gives us details.
For the Vice President, it is from one meeting to the other as the nation moves in search of security, both locally and regionally. And at this third regional dialogue on the protection of the Lake Chad Basin, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo observed that the place once referred to as a place of great hope and expectation is now overtaken by ecological and humanitarian disasters.
The people of the Lake Chad region face problems of existential proportions. Loss of lives, livelihoods, malnutrition, out-of-school children. The protection issues are complex, varied, and numerous.
Today, the story of the Lake Chad Basin is one of growing despair, he says. The lake itself is shrinking daily and from over 15,000 square kilometers now to less than 500 square kilometers in under 50 years. As it recedes, so does the hope of many who depend on it. He observed and warned that regional leaders of Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad and Niger must not fail the people and those that established the Lake Chad Basin.
Those pioneers expected that working together as brothers in the Commission, the ecological, commercial and social lives of the Lake Chad Basin stood a much better chance of survival. They expected, even then, that there would be challenges, but they knew that the most daunting challenges are conquered by men and not spirits.
The Vice President commended efforts of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees and the neighboring countries for their humanitarian services to Nigerians internally displaced and others seeking refuge outside the country as a result of the Boko Haram insurgents. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Away from Nigeria, State House, plans by the federal government to collaborate with the Tony Elumelu Foundation and creating self-sustaining entrepreneurs got a boost with a formal meeting between the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture and a delegation from the Tony Elumelu Foundation in Abuja. Anthony Folson reports.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, while opening talks with the delegation, noted that the partnership will go a long way, especially as it is targeted at the creative industry, which is the key to empowering the most active segment of the society.
I'm quite impressed by the elasticity of the description or definition of creative industry by the British. We seem to limit creative industry to just people who are doing sculpturing, people who are visual arts. So I think that's very inclusive definition of creative industry, which also includes films, it includes music, and that is why we're here.
In her presentation, the Chief Executive Officer of the Foundation, Farminda Ver, said the Tony Elumelu Foundation has set aside the sum of $100 million to empower 10,000 youths in 23 African countries, with Nigeria taking the highest figure, given the size of its population and economic capacity. She said the creative industry will be their target.
The largest contingent of that selection was obviously Nigeria. Why? A very, very young entrepreneurial population, phenomenally creative and phenomenally innovative young population. That is an asset that this nation has. Yeah.
In Abuja, Anthony Fossen, NTA News.
Economic and financial experts have called for a legal and enabling environment for foreign investors. They made the call during the second day of the National Assembly Forum on Capital Markets Legislation. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports.
In a paper titled The Nigerian Capital Market Master Plan 2015 to 2025, the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Munir Gwazo, talks on the challenges of the Investments and Securities Act of 2007 and other laws guiding capital market activities.
The Nigerian stock market between March 5th and December 31st also lost 5.7 trillion naira. Why did it happen? Market was highly concentrated, dominated by the banking sector, which made up 60% of the market as at then.
Panelists discussed the benefits of the mutualization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, saying this is important for market growth and development. They agreed this would boost competitiveness and would broaden investors' access to the market.
We have 3% of global population and produce 0.5% of global, 0.25% of global.
Legal framework to make sure that fraudsters within the market do not have access to sweat of legitimate Nigerian investors.
A legal and policy framework drawn up between the legislature and key players is expected to pave the way for smoother capital market activities. In Abuja, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
In a related development, ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, have been directed to avoid late submission and incomplete documentation of their requests to the Bureau of Public Procurement in order to speed up budget implementation. Acting Director General of the Bureau, Ahmed Abdul, made the call in Abuja while speaking on modalities to reposition the Bureau towards improving the nation's economy. Joseph Johnson reports.
The Acting Director General says the Bureau is re-strategizing to ensure efficiency in the procurement process.
We are trying to adopt electronic procurement, which is called e-procurement, to minimize human interface. So in order to increase efficiency and even make some savings. If you reduce human interface, you reduce a lot of issues that are associated with corruption. So on this note, we are seeking for the cooperation of procuring entities. Whenever they are submitting their request to BPP, let them give us all the necessary documents that we can use to review their procurement process.
He also added that the Bureau has embarked on conversion training for staff of federal parastatals, commissions and agencies to improve its productivity level. In Abuja, Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a public hearing to amend some sections of the Energy Commission of Nigeria Act of 1979 has been held. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports that the proposed amendments will address the current challenges in the energy sector.
A key component of this bill is the encouragement of the use of solar energy, which in other countries is almost the norm. And with the challenges of climate change, it is clearly clean and renewable. On this basis, the bill also seeks to ensure reasonable charges for solar panel installations.
With the minister being in charge, the permanent secretary that have full knowledge of the technical aspect of that area should be incorporated to be members instead of ministers of other ministry.
Key players in the sector welcome the proposals, although they have some reservations.
The management of the commission is of the view that the status quo with regards to the chairmanship and membership of the commission be maintained. That is, Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief should remain the chairman, while the ministers of the relevant ministries remain as members.
The public hearing also sought for an act to establish the National Biotechnology Development Agency, NABDA.
The bill, when passed into law, will ensure improved service delivery, efficiency, and promote sustenance in the development and application of acceptable and profitable technologies through strategic investments in biotechnology research and development to support innovation.
The agency was established in April 2001. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Security now. The Defense Headquarters is adopting global best practices to sanitize purchasing system in the military as enshrined in the Public Procurement Act 2007. This was at a seminar on the matter organized in conjunction with the Bureau of Public Procurement. Defense correspondent Mohammed Abdul Kadri reports.
The theme of the seminar is capability management of the armed forces in procurement system. The Chief of Defense Staff explains.
Would be a veritable tool in our effort to ensure that the armed forces of Nigeria remain an epitome of probity.
According to the organizer, the seminar is key to the policy thrust of the present administration to enshrine accountability in governance.
The import is to allow all the procurement entities to get to know and be aware of the policy trust of the government on accountability, transparency, and due process.
If you adopt wrong procurement method, you commit procurement fraud willingly or unwillingly. So we so much emphasize on capacity building.
The seminar, which drew participants from the tri-services, is aimed at ensuring successful implementation of the 2016 budget and to build on the guidelines for government-to-government approach in military acquisition.
Winning the war against terrorism and not losing the battle, but at what cost in terms of procurement of military equipment and platforms? That is the essence of the seminar. From the Defense Headquarters, Abuja, Muhammad Abdul Kadri, NTA News.
And the Nigerian Police Force has premiered a blockbuster film produced and directed by a Nigerian. The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, says the series is to rebrand the Nigerian police, bridge the communication gap, and to let Nigerians into achievements of the police force. Adino Justice reports that the public presentation of the film had the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, and security agencies, government and information agencies, as well as notable artists in attendance.
The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, says this informed the conceptualization of this series entitled Beyond Your Sight, majorly to showcase Nigerian police professional competence, achievement, and to enlighten the public on building confidence in the police.
The Nigerian police under my leadership
has aligned policing in our country to best international practices, where TV series highlighting exploits of police and criminal activities are utilized to strengthen internal security.
Nollywood and crime prevention, the two coming together, will go a long way to then amplify and reinforce one of the key objectives of the federal government.
The Nigeria police officers and men have been in the forefront together with the Nigerian army, the Nigerian military also, in the fight against Boko Haram.
The film producer and director, Lancelot Emerson, and the force public relations officer, Assistant Commissioner of Police, B.C. Kolawole, stressed that the stories were based on true life events in the country and are aimed at correcting the misconception about the Nigerian police. NTA's Executive Director of Programs, Mrs. Eugenia Abu, was among those who watched the premiere that featured Nollywood stars like Segun Arinze, Desmond Elliott, and some police personnel.
Quality is very high, the storyline is well done, the script writing is fantastic. I enjoyed it very much. I think it's very high standard.
The police TV series is to hit the airwaves of major television networks in the country soon. In Abuja, Edina Justice, NTA News.
Now, this is the news on NTA International reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. We'll be back with more reports in a moment. Stay with us.
Information is power. Everyone wants power. So feel powerful with the NTA News mobile app, the one-stop information center. Real news at your fingertip. Be the first to report by uploading first-hand information on the U-Report link, and be the first to know by simply clicking on any of the links on the sidebar for headlines, domestic and foreign news, economy, security, politics, sports, and more. Stream live on your smartphone and tablets and stay connected. It's pretty easy. Simply download NTA News app from your Google Play Store and you're good to go. NTA News mobile app, your access to real-time information.
Rapid urbanization, industrialization, and motorization, experts say, have been identified as some of the factors responsible for pollution in many developing countries. As the world marks 2016 World Environment Day, the Environment Division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers is focusing on pollution menace in Nigeria. Adebola Brixlin Sunday reports.
Land pollution, vehicle exhaust, untreated wastewater, industrial emission and toxic wastes, experts say, destroy ecosystem and create harmful living conditions. Go wild for life is the theme of this year's World Environment Day celebration globally. In Nigeria, tree planting and the need to enlighten Nigerians on environmental pollution is the sub-theme chosen by these experts under the aegis of Environment Division and arm of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. For a body saddled with the responsibility of the promotion of sustainability as a unifying framework to meet the environmental, economic, technological and social goods of national development. How can this change be achieved?
We're expecting government to do more, but we're expecting every Nigerian to also contribute by limiting waste, by sorting waste, and by handling waste appropriately.
We are supposed to enlighten the populace on the importance of infrastructure, particularly the sewage line and the drainages.
We should watch out for engineering projects that are breaking down and causing environmental pollution. Report to the appropriate authorities for them to be rectified.
June 5th of every year is set aside by the United Nations to mark the day worldwide. As the Environment Division of the Nigerian Society of Engineers marks this year's World Environment Day, members of the society are calling on all Nigerians to join the race in making the world a better place, taking into cognizance the pollution menace in the country. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And from the environment to business, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, wheat farmers and millers have adopted a control price for wheat. Edeaho has the details of this and more on Business News.
Welcome to Business News. Oil prices held above $50 in Asia on Wednesday as traders await U.S. inventory data and the dollar remained weak, boosting demand for the commodity. Meanwhile, wheat farmers in Nigeria have guaranteed minimum prices for wheat. A ton is now to sell for 140,000 naira. This was part of the agreement reached between the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, wheat farmers and millers in Abuja.
Of the millers, to invest as much as 500 million naira, to promote investment, to promote research, in wheat production. And we believe that that will go a very long way, so that we'll continue to increase our production.
But today, we have demonstrated in no small measure that our wheat is comparable to imported wheat, if not superior.
The equities market closed Wednesday on a negative note as Nigeria Stock Exchange All Share Index depreciated. Here is a summary of market activity on the floor of the exchange. That's it on this end. The rest of the news continues.
Thanks, Eddie. Now for stories trending around the world, let's join Adebola Brixlin Sunday.
An Egypt airplane that was forced to land in Uzbekistan due to a bomb threat was cleared for the continuation of its journey from Cairo to Beijing. During the check, all 118 passengers and 17 crew on board the Airbus A330-220 were evacuated at the airports. Reports say the search was conducted by Uzbek security forces, but no explosive device found. And China's defense ministry says it was looking into reports of a Chinese fighter jet carried out an unsafe intercept of a U.S. spy plane in international airspace over the East China Sea. The ministry added that Chinese Air Force pilots consistently act in a professional and responsible manner. Presidential aspirants in the upcoming United States election, Hillary Clinton says her giant stride in the race is a milestone for the women. Clinton thanked her supporters for helping her reach her historic moment for women. In all, she won 4 of the 6 states voting in primaries last Tuesday.
This victory is not about one person. It belongs to generations of women and men.
It is the first time in the history of the USA that a woman will be a major party nominee. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now talking sports now, veteran sports journalist Akinloye Oyebanji says Nigeria has lost one of her biggest sporting heroes, former Super Eagles coach Stephen Keshi. He made this known on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria while reflecting on the legacy of the big boss, as he was fondly called.
From the schoolboy to the big boss. He and some other players were referred to by the late Anthony Ihazobo as the Benin Rebels, and they were barred from the national team. Others begged to come back. Stephen Keshi just took off and went to Cote d'Ivoire, played for Africa Sports, where he is still worshipped up till date. Not long after, he crossed to France, and shortly after that then too, went to Belgium, and he became what we used to call the strongman of Anderlecht. So when you see people running about, after professional soccer today, please don't forget, this man was.
Keshi will be remembered as the only Nigerian coach who has won the African Cup of Nations as a player and a coach. Meanwhile, sports football lovers around the world have been mourning the death of former Super Eagles captain and coach Stephen Okechukwu Keshi. He died at the University of Benin Teaching Hospital early Wednesday morning. Amanzi Marcus in this special report focuses on the life and times of the late Delta State-born football player and coach.
Nigerians midweek woke up to the news of the death of Stephen Okechukwu Keshi, a former Super Eagles captain and coach. Born on the 23rd of January 1962 in Azare, Bauchi State, Keshi died in Benin City of suspected cardiac arrest. He had lost his wife to cancer on December 10, 2015. The deceased began his playing career with the defunct ACB of Lagos and New Nigeria Bank of Benin City before opening the door for many Africans to start playing professional football abroad after he had played for 2 Ivorian club sides. He played for 11 club sides and spent many years in Belgium, especially with Anderlecht, where he had 99 appearances between 1987 and 1991. Stephen Keshi earned 64 caps playing for Nigeria with 9 goals. He started playing for the senior national team in 1981, aged 20, winning Africa Cup of Nations in 1994, and was in the team that qualified Nigeria to her first FIFA World Cup in the USA with her best FIFA rankings to date. Stephen Keshi in the year 2013 joined Egypt's Mahmoud El Gohari as the only two to attain the feat of winning AFCON as player and coach. The left central defender, popularly called the Big Boss, was a 3-time coach of Togo. He qualified them to the 2006 FIFA World Cup in Germany, but was replaced by German Otto Pfister before the competition. Keshi also coached Mali between 2008 and 2010 and was above all a 2-time coach of the Super Eagles.
As young as he was when he died, he lived to achieve so many things. His name will live forever in Nigeria.
He just lost his wife not 5 months ago. We went to see him in America. We're just, trying to console him. Suddenly he's gone too. I don't get it, It's just so painful.
He will be remembered for his patriotism, charisma, and influence, and for bringing joy to many football fans, and for giving more room to home-based players in the Super Eagles team.
But that's what I did in the last 2 years, believing in home-based players, because they are the foundation of any national team.
He was sacked as Super Eagles coach in July 2015. It was at this Abuja National Stadium that Stephen Keshi and his players trained as he achieved his dream of coaching at the FIFA 2014 World Cup in Brazil. Stephen Keshi's death further depletes the glorious 1994 Super Eagles team after the death of Uche Okafor, Thompson Oliha, Rashidi Yekini, and Wilfred Agbonobare. In Abuja, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
Quite a sad story there. He'll be greatly missed. We'll now take a peep into Thursday's weather in some Nigerian and world cities. And the weather prospects does it on NTA International News at this time. We thank you for watching. I am Oku Ekbayang.